Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the last Tuesday tutorial. Today we're going to work through a past paper in preparation for the exam. Again, those who have to write this essay supplementary for semester test 2, please apply the Google Forms on Eve. Sick test application, affidavit, or doctor's note, or the doctor must complete the application form. And before I start, any specific questions you guys have, or must I just work through the past exam? This is the 2018 exam. 2019 exams are already on Eve. And there'll be a bonus assignment tomorrow. I must just put it together for you. Work through. Okay. I see not many people online this morning, which is not an issue. I know a lot of you guys will watch the video later on. We fill in both the individual group feedback for the project. Good morning. Look, you have to do the peer review. The team feedback is optional, to be honest. We have the anonymous feedback. That's just for getting feedback from you guys in general so we can improve. University is going to ask you for a module in teaching evaluation. That's for them. So is a bonus assignment due for tomorrow? Yes, I will put up the bonus assignment later today. So we don't have to do. Okay, so we don't have to do the Google Form one. The peer review will dictate your marks. The Google Form is just to get some additional feedback from you guys in terms of how the project was run. So we can just get additional notes. Okay. But yeah, if you have any questions, post them in chat like normal. I'll answer them as we go. The first thing is there's no general knowledge. What is the bonus assignment? I have not thought of it yet. It'll involve something tomorrow's projects day. Okay, it'll involve you interacting with the third years in some manner. All the honor students in some manner tomorrow. Okay. We've always had a project bonus assignment associated with projects day. Involves you attending projects day. This year is a virtual projects day, so you'll have to interact with the team in some manner and then upload something. It changes every year. Is it optional? Yes, it's optional. We don't force you guys to do this. We just want you guys to actually go and get involved with projects day, as it'll give you an idea of what you're going to do in a couple of years. By then, we hope you'll be back on campus and it'll be a normal projects day. Okay, let's get started then. First thing, as I mentioned, there is no general knowledge in the exam. How many practicals count? Probably 8 or 9. So just attend projects day and get info. Yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do. Just bear in mind the teams are being judged. So if you are speaking to a third year team, sorry, if you are speaking to the third year team, just make sure you aren't interrupting when they're being judged. Yeah, so basically there'll be a Google form you'll submit. I find it's the easiest way for you guys to do this type of thing. So you'll attend projects day, you'll get some info and upload and post it to the Google form. It's not very hard. Okay. Any other questions? Today is going to just be a review of an exam and how to do the exam or process the exam. And I give you an idea of what the exam for you guys is going to be like. Bear in mind, we have set the exams have been processed and ready for you guys for this year. So let's get started. Any other questions, post them in chat. I'll try to answer them if they're in line with what we're talking, or answer them at the end. Okay, getting back to the exam, we don't have a general knowledge section this year. We've taken it out. So question 1 doesn't exist per se. Actually, it doesn't exist at all. So we've moved the 10 marks out of question 1 and we've moved them all over the place. So you're going to face a recursion question again, and you're going to have a recursive question where you have to give us the answer to an equation or answer to a recursion statement, and you're going to have to write a recursive function. Okay, so there's going to be 2 parts to question 2 this year. Part 1 is we give you a recursive function and you tell us the results. Part 2 is we give you a function and you must give us the recursive code. Okay. So we'll give you a when n is equal to this and also n is equal to this times this times this, then you must write the recursive code for that. We'll try to do 1 or 2 examples on Thursday. But any questions about how you would go about answering question 2.1 here? No. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, question 2.1 is basically, this was in terms of X, Y, Z. Sorry, something's gone wrong with my headphones. Apologies. Okay. So question 2.1, what answer will it give us? Let's check that if you guys understand it. What is the final answer of this? I'm going to wait 5 minutes, or let's make it 4 minutes, and post your guesses in the chat, and then we'll see what you get. This is actually an easy one. Almost. You're not reading the question properly. Always read the code carefully, don't assume. No, you're still not reading the question properly, ladies and gentlemen. Read the question. There's no time limit now, so read slowly and get the question. You guys are close. It's just that you're not looking at the question properly. For those who aren't in chat, we've been given the answers of the following. For those watching the recording, you guys are still not looking at the question. And we've been given now y plus 1 x. So I'm going batty and not looking at the question properly. No, I'm not. You guys are forgetting BODMAS. Aha! Melini, you've got it right. Honestly, I hope I'm pronouncing your surname correctly. It is the correct answer. There's none of these. Okay. Is x times z the power of y? Is it that, though? Are we 100% sure it's that? Yeah, it's plus 1. Why is it plus 1? Look at what the return statement is. Okay. Yeah, and remember, if the return was 0, the answer would be 0. So be very careful. Make sure you read the whole question. Okay. Do I need to go through how we worked it out, ladies and gentlemen? Are you comfortable on how we got the answer of x times z to the power of y plus 1? Okay, I have no issue show. It's a show. And okay, 100%. Remember the tuts you guys run, I'm just here to help. So we assume y equals 5. Okay, so we have I'm not gonna type the whole thing out. Q2 x 5 z, okay, which equals Q2. Doesn't equal Q2. Equals x z times Q2 x 5 minus 1 comma z. Okay. Then 5 minus 1 is 4, so we got Q2. I'm just going to 2, 4, which is then this. Then gives us Q3. Q3 is then 3. Glasses everywhere, but where it should be. Three minus 1, then which is Q2 is 2. This becomes 1. 1, and this becomes 0. And when we get 0, we get x times z. Okay? Now we have to go back up. Now we have to substitute back up because now we know what this part is. We know what this value is of x2 Q2 recursive x0 z. It's x zx. So that we have x times z, z x times z. Okay. Then we have x times z times then we have x times z times with this. Do all of this again, moving back up. Remember, every time we go back up, we pull the answer with us. I'm going to keep what's already there. Okay. And we have the last one, which is all of these. That. The final answer is that, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's x z to the power of 6. Again, we started at y equals 5. So x z to the power of y plus 1. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Correct. That's how these should work. It doesn't matter what you assume, you should get the same answer. So if I assume it's 7, I should get 8 of these. That's what we're trying to find. We're trying to find the general solution to this code. Y plus 1, because if I go and say y is 7, this will go to 8. If I say y is 10, this will go to 11. So it's always one more than y. If I say y is 2, we're going to get 3. If I say y is 1, I'm going to get 2. If I say y is 0, I'm going to get 1. So it's always one more than y. The point of these questions is to see if you guys can see the recursive flow and produce a general answer. Because there's always a general answer to these functions. In terms of the x, y, and z, or a, b, c, depending on what you get. Does that answer your guys' questions there? Any more questions on the recursive function answer? If it was plus 1, what do you mean? Yeah. Okay, a bit of context. 6 then would be, this would, think about it, if I go y6, I would have 7 of this sequence. I would get x times z to the power of 7, which is still y plus 1. No, it should be in brackets, you're right. Because that could cause a confusion in the answer. BODMAS would dictate it's other way around. Yeah. Can you do an example of writing recursive code? If we have chance near the end, there's still a lot of code we have to go through and a lot of the paper for you guys to understand how to answer. So if we have a chance, we can do it near the end. Else we'll try to put up some practice questions for you guys to work through. Okay, any other questions about this one? Everyone okay with question 2, except the second part that's in your new exam this year, writing a recursive function. Okay, I'll come back to that if we have time. I'll go and Google a recursive thing and we can do it together. Now let's look at question 3. Okay, and just ignore 3.2, that doesn't exist anymore. So here, consider the class called animal. Using the UML notation taught you in class, show that you understand the concept of inheritance by designing. Okay, this is going to be a bit more intense. You guys are going to have inheritance, composition, and interfaces, so you guys need to be able to draw all aspects of UML. So you'll be given a base class and you'll be told to draw either inheritance, composition, interface in different combinations. So you guys must be comfortable with this. Again, draw the UML, not write code. This is the biggest mistake I saw in semester test one. A lot of you gave me the code for the classes. Question 3, UML notation or UML class diagrams, you have to draw the class diagram. So you need a base class animal. We need at least class A, two attributes that inherits from class animal. Interface is simple. I'm going to use Visio for this one. Okay, so an interface, firstly has interface name, example, doesn't really have attributes, it just has members, so you have that. You have your class, and it's interface realization, so it's a dotted line connecting to your class. That's how a class interface would connect. Okay, but the important part is interface, the name of the interface, and then the members. Remember, interfaces don't have attributes. Interfaces only have methods. They're property methods or whatever. It has methods. Okay, but make sure that you draw your class diagrams. Use the correct symbol. Composition is a solid diamond. Inheritance is an arrow. Okay, but composition is a solid diamond, not an open diamond. An open diamond is aggregation. So solid diamond is composition. And also, let's just do an example. An animal will be composed of, let's say, heart. Inside here, there should be a prompt heart, as if my spelling's right, heart. I'll have my composition there. Let's put it here. Okay, so my animal has a heart and it connects to heart. Now, if you do a solid error, it's incorrect for inheritance. Composition, composition isn't just the arrow. The class that is composed of needs to have a attribute of that type, else it's not complete. Okay, it's incomplete composition. What have you got that for your semester test one? Incomplete composition. So make sure you actually have a attribute of the composition type and you are linking it correctly. We're not too concerned of what tools you use to draw the diagrams, but the notation must be correct. If the notation is incorrect, you can't blame the tool you're using, you must fix it yourself. Indirect inheritance is a situation like this. Polar bear. So indirect inheritance is when a polar bear inherits from bear and bear inherits from animal. So polar bear is indirectly inheriting from animal. Yeah. So you have it's when you have a derived class that inherits from a base class as well. So it's indirectly. So direct inheritance, indirect inheritance is in animal. So polar bear indirectly inherits from animal. Bear inherits directly from animal. Polar bear inherits directly from bear. Any other questions on the UML? Remember, you have to draw the UML. It must make sense and the notation must be correct. Everyone okay with the inheritance? Or the UML composition? Sorry, not UML composition. UML in general. But remember, constructors, property methods, overriding methods don't count as methods. So be careful of that. Make sure you read the full question to make sure you don't have any problems. No. 3.1, do not have a class called A. Yeah. For 3.1, do we have a name for class A? No. You have to come up with it. We give you the base class. So the base class is animal. You must come up with the rest yourself. We're testing your understanding of inheritance and composition with the names of the things you say. A bad example. Can a doctor inherit a hospital? Okay, because in the UML we're saying then the doctor is the hospital. It doesn't make logical sense. Can we say a hospital has a doctor? Okay, so that's what we're testing with the UML as well. If you understand what inheritance and composition actually means. So if I have hospital and I want to inherit, what is something that can inherit from a hospital? A clinic. A clinic is a hospital, yeah, that can work. What else? That's pushing the limit. Surgery is part of a hospital, but there we go. Military hospital. Good. A military hospital is a hospital. A public hospital is a hospital. A private hospital is a hospital. A surgery is part of a hospital. So a hospital will have a surgery aspect. Medical, a medical hospital. You also could say human hospital, animal hospital. Kind of the same. Also differentiates. I'm not sure on medical. That might depends what attribute you have, I guess. Yeah, but is everyone understanding the idea of what's happening in question 3? Ignore 3.2. Don't draw instantiation. Hospice, yes, that's a type of hospital, yes. Good. Okay. Everyone happy with question 3? Okay. Let's move on. Question 4, general programming. This is where things get a bit more interesting. Okay, so here we have the following classes. Bus, vehicle, ship, spaceship, I can fly, pilot, FRM, vehicle manager. So we have, which is our base class? Which one out of these is our base class? Vehicle, I agree. So vehicle will have, a bus is a vehicle, a ship is a vehicle, a spaceship is a ship. I can fly, I would think is associated with spaceship. Pilot, where would pilot fit in? Does a bus have a pilot? Okay, who has a pilot? Spaceship. Also a ship would have a pilot, or no? A ship would have a pilot, yeah. I say no. Pirate. Okay, fine. Okay, so a spaceship would have a pilot. I can fly is associated to spaceship, and interface class, yeah. No, I can fly is interface. The fact that it's I means it's an interface. The fact that there's an I there means it's an interface. It's not if it's an interface, it is an interface. Okay, so evidence okay on how these are connected. Okay, cool. Now we come to the questions. Based on these classes, class composition with appropriate methods that cannot be read from. So write VB code that is that. Class composition with appropriate property method that cannot be read from. So you're now asked to write VB code to illustrate that example. For 5 marks. So I'll do the first one to give you an example of what you kind of expected to do. So composition, where can we have composition? Spaceship. How did I know what I was doing? And no, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have the memo in front of me somewhere. Let's look at the question again. Class composition with appropriate property methods that cannot be read from. So here's class composition, correct? And quick question, why did I go OBG pilot and not just underscore pilot? Why did I add this extra wording here? Pilot is a class, it's also a reserved word. Okay, so to avoid confusion, I changed it to say object pilot. So, sir, you just do any class you choose first. No, look at the combination. Remember when we were discussing composition class, is bus vehicle, does a vehicle have a bus? Does vehicle have a ship? Does spaceship have a ship? Does I can fly a ship? Does spaceship have a pilot? I'm looking for the composition. So I'm trying to find out which of these has a composition relationship. And when we're discussing, you all agreed that a spaceship had a pilot. So pilot, there's a composition relationship between pilot and spaceship. Yeah, you always have to look for the relationship. So in this case, I was looking for the has a relationship. A spaceship has a pilot. Then it says an appropriate property method that can be read from. So I can't read the property, but I can write to the property. A ship is a vehicle, yeah, that's a composition. A ship is a type of vehicle. Ah, thank you very much. That would cause a problem. So this is what question 4 is asking you to do. Is we saying this is what you need to do. You need to then provide us with the VB code associated to it. The VB code that explains this. So let's have a look at 4.2. Calling a class level method. What is that? What is a class level method? You have to scratch your brains a bit for this one. You do know it. Is this? A constructor isn't a class level method. Okay, let's give another term, a class level variable. Something that doesn't belong to an object. Shared, there we go. So we need to come up with a shared method and call it. Calling a class level method. So let's see. Public class vehicle public shared function get next ID as integer return ID plus equals 1 Well, let's just do ID plus equals 1. I'm making it up. I don't know it's in there. I'm just deciding it's there. I need to go to FRM, Vehicle Management Manager, public sub BTN click. Here you can say vehicle dot get next ID. In sub and class. So how did you come up with the conclusion that a shared variable is required? Oh, not really required, but it's the easiest way to demonstrate it. So the easiest way to demonstrate it was making a shared variable that I could use. Remember, inside a shared function, you can't use any variables that aren't shared. So when I came up with the idea of next ID, I thought, wait, I need a variable, so let me throw a variable into the mix. It's not really about, it's just about showing an example of a class level method. It could be something else. That might not require the ID, but I went with next ID. It just depends on what you think of. But then I had to show calling it. So I had to show this. So when we look at marking, we look that you have that, and we look that you have that inside vehicle. So we look for certain things, that you have a shared function inside vehicle, and inside form, you've called vehicle dot get next ID, because we're calling a class level method. It's not making a class level method, it's calling a class level method. So we have to have a method that exists. So we have to make the method and then call the method. So it's testing your ability to know that, okay, I need a shared method, and to call it, I need to go the name of the class dot the method. Okay, constructor overloading in a base class, extending a method, and then upcasting. Those are the next. Can it be any method besides shared? No. It's a class level method, so it has to be shared. Why did I choose vehicle? Easiest one, I guess. I don't know. If it's an object level, it's a standard method, yes. Shared level, shared is a class level. That's why when we call it by the class. All that for 3 marks? Yes. Okay, then you have a constructor overloading in a base class, extending of methods, and upcasting. I'm not going to do these 3. You guys can try them yourselves and see how it goes. Okay. You have to do a bit of practice with these type of questions, because it's not something you guys are used to. It's important that you can do this type of question. We did something similar in the semester test 1. So it is something you have dealt with before. Okay, now I want to go through collision handling, which was discussed yesterday. We've shown you overloading, yes. Question 4 is challenging. That's the point of it. We're testing your ability to show us a VB code or show us an idea of code. The point of it. If tests aren't challenging, it's not a test. Put it that way. Yes, we've shown you overloading. I don't know. We did construct overloading. Overloading is when you have two methods of the same name with different parameters. Construct overloading would be two constructors with different parameters. Oh, it is done with inheritance, thank you. Okay, can we move on to question 5? Still have a couple questions to go. Okay. Question 5. Ignore, okay, the entry is just telling you the order in which things go, and then the key, and then the position. So please keep that in mind when looking at this question. We have the entry, this is the order. So this must go first, then this, then this, then this. Position 2, 3, 4. The most important thing is this as well. You're inserting into random access of size 12. I'm going to use Excel for this because it's the easiest option to display it. I'm clicking on the wrong. So being size 12, what does that mean? What value do we start? 0, good. What value do we end at? Even better. Yep, one too many. Okay. So we have that. The first one we're doing is synonym chaining. Synonym chaining is with pointers. Remember, synonym chaining is the first one we're doing. Yeah, that's why I've done the overflow here. And the pointing spaces. Okay, so let's try to see if we can do this next to each other. Okay, so where does alpha go? What position? 2. Okay, so alpha goes here. Alpha goes to 3. Good. Charlie goes to Charlie's supposed to go to where? Charlie's supposed to go to 2. Charlie can't go to 2 because it's taken over. So Charlie goes here. And since it's synonym chaining, insert. I just want to find this shape. No. Where's symbols, textures? Shapes. Arrow. Okay. Remember, we're doing synonym chain. I'll keep it like that. So synonym chaining requires that there's a link between alpha and Charlie because they're both. Delta goes to 4. Echo goes to 5. Echo goes to 5. Okay with that? A bit difficult with the spacing. It'll work. Where does Foxtrot go to? 11. So we go to 11. We go to Foxtrot. Golf goes to. Supposed to go to 11. Where does it end up? Overflow or pointer. So golf. And we just a line going down. Foxtrot. Okay, hotel goes to 1. So we go to 1. Hotel. India goes to 6. And the last one, Juliet, goes to 2. So Juliet supposed to go to 2. 2 is taken. Charlie, Juliet goes here. And we need another arrow from Charlie to Juliet. Okay, so there's your synonym chaining approach. Everyone comfortable on how I've drawn this? Okay, so that's synonym chaining. Next one is linear search, which is linear probing. We've changed the name from last year. So if you see linear search, just think of linear probing. So the linear probing, alpha goes to 2, alpha goes to 3, Charlie's goes to where? Supposed to go to 2, ends up in what? Oh, good. Delta is supposed to go to 4, ends up? Five. Okay, spelling. And we have echo is supposed to go to 5, ends up in 6. Foxtrot supposed to go to 11. 11's open, so Foxtrot takes it. Golf is supposed to go to 11 as well. 11 is taken. Where does it go? 0. Good. It wraps around. Hotel goes to 1. And Juliet is supposed to go to 2. 2 is taken. Where's the next available spot? 7. So Juliet goes to 7. Okay, so that's linear probing. India, oh, sorry, yeah, India, my bad. India is supposed to go to 6. India goes here, and Juliet ends up at 8. My bad. Thank you for that. Everyone okay with the linear search or linear probing? The wording was incorrect in 2018. Hotel is at 1. 1 was open, so it went to 1. Everyone okay with this one? Good. Now the next one is the bucket addressing. So I'm just going to delete this. And it's size 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We start again. Alpha is at 2. Bravo 3. Charlie's 2. Delta is 4. Delta. Echo is 5. Foxtrot is 11. Golf is 11. Hotel is 1. India is 6. And Juliet is 2. Since it's bucket addressing, we make it according to the size. Bucket addressing size 4, so you have 4 spaces for every position. And that's how it fit into it. You guys okay with that? When we do the test, we make sure that doesn't happen. So the question is, what happens if we used all the entries and there's still one more? When we set up the exams, we make sure that's not possible. Same thing if size got exceeded. Kind of not really one entry with 4 spaces, but 4 spaces per entry. Okay, I'm sure Mr. van der Westhuizen will demonstrate 2 pass tonight. I just want to make sure we finish off this pass paper. If we have time, I'll come back and do 2 pass. It's fine. Everyone okay with that? Everyone okay with question 5? Okay, it's easy question worth, in this year, it's worth 18%, 18 marks. It's not worth 5 each, it's worth 6 each. 1 for notation, drawing the correct block, the correct spacing. Yes, 18%, ladies and gentlemen. Exam is not hard if you know what you're doing. If you practice, the exam is very easy. Okay, but if you don't know what you're doing, question 4 or this year's 5 will be a disaster. Question 4 will be a disaster as well if you don't know what you're doing. The UML question was a disaster because some of you guys wrote code. So unless you actually know what you're doing, it is bad. So just keep that in mind. It's not, some questions are simpler than others. Okay. Question 6, sequential files. So, where applicable and denoted by VB in the question, provide syntactically correct VB code along with any necessary declarations for the following question. File stream, binary formatter, constant file location, books, binary formatter. For B is equal to 1 to integer, savable textbooks, next B, complete saving process. So here's a snippet of code. Now you need to do the following. Explain the role of a file FS object. What is the purpose of a FS object? For 2 marks. I see there's a typo. Create a connection between your code and the data in a file. Yes. What is the role of the object? Remember, FS is an object. So you're not instantiation. So Merlin, I hope I'm pronouncing it. Merlin. Create a connection between your code and a data in a file is the more appropriate answer, but that's one. It's to open or create a file and then enable reading or writing the file. Okay. Create a new file described in line 5. So what is supposed to go in line 5? I suck at pronunciation. I'll try it just now. Sorry. Okay, let's moving on. 6.2, create a new file described in 5. What is that line supposed to be at line 5? You guys should know it. Look at the code. What should go at line 5? No, you can't just say parameters. You got to give the parameters. So you're on the right direction. There we go. Copy and paste some of these. Nice. Okay. I'm trying to move the wrong screens. Let's just check. Not FL. File. Lock. Create. Mode right. Yeah. Okay, just be careful. You must use the code provided. You can't come up with your own variable names. So FN wouldn't work, but file lock will work because that's a file location. Okay. Line now, save all objects of type textbook in the books array to file as described in line 8. What does that mean? No, it's file, sorry, this is not right. It's file mode create and file access right. Thank you. I didn't see that. Okay, thank you for the correction there. So it's file mode, and then file access. Be careful of that. Save all textbooks objects in the books array described. So what is this requiring us to do? What is that 6.3 requiring us to do? Serialize and what? Downcast. There we go. Since there's an array already, if type of books B is text book, then binary formatter dot serialize file stream book B. And if okay, we've got to check what type of book it is. It's not necessarily downcasting, but it's at least testing the object to see it's a book, a textbook. We don't need to do the loop. The loop is done for us if you look at the code. Don't do things unnecessarily. Look at the code and then work from there. If there's code provided. Okay. 6.4, what are we supposed to do in 6.4? No, not flush. That's random access. fs.close. And 6.4, there's a mistake. It should be line 10. So it's fs.close. What are we working with? Sequential files now in question 6. Good. Okay, moving on. Question 7. Now here's your flush. Consider the following record structure used to save records to a random access file that contains 19 records. 19 records. Structure, Pokemon. Sometimes it's difficult. Size of the record Pokemon structure is 38. Provide the necessary code to ensure it is maintained. So what do we have to do to the structure to make sure that it is 38? Max size, VB thick string, there we go. So we have to say that the public VB string, what size? 15. Public name as string. Okay. What is this looking for? Excellent. Okay. 7.2. Assume that the file stream object fs has been instantiated. Create the necessary structure in the new random access file. Okay. So it's asking us to create a new random access file for 7 marks. So here we do a bit more work. We're going to have a dim blank rec as Pokemon blank rec dot id equals -1 blank rec dot name equals just a string and blank. I can do LSET, yes. Right now, I remember in the exam you are stressed for time, so just go with the easiest options. How is it calculated? 4 plus 4 is 8. There's 30 bytes missing, which goes to name. So name is 30, so it's a string, so it's maximum of 15 characters. Okay, our binary, dim binary, and this is, we are creating binary writer equals new as binary writer. Just check this is BRW. BW equals new binary writer fs or fs dot set length 19 times 38 for r as integer equals 0 to 18. File stream dot seek r dot r times 38 comma seek origin dot in thing, I think. I'll check my code. Binary writer dot write blank rec dot id. Does it begin? Thank you. Name health. Next, fs.flush, fs.close. That's pretty much it. Okay, that answers 7.2. Okay, remember 7.2 is worth 7 marks. So you got marks for this. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay, so random access. With questions 6 and 7 with the files, you have to do a bit of coding as well. Let's do 7.3. Define hash calc hash, a function that returns the record position of key rec k. So this is the hash function. So private function calc hash accepts rec k as integer and gives us back an integer. Return rec k mod what? And what's the nearest prime number to 19? 17. Thank you. Okay. There's 19 potential positions, so we look for the nearest prime number to it, or just below the number, so we get 17. Okay, and then last one, provide a subroutine called fetch rec that will return a record given a key. It must check to see if a record location is the correct one due to potential collisions. That's a pain in the ass question, but hey. So 7.34 is fetch rec. Private function fetch rec, and it gives us a rec k as integer, returns it as a Pokemon, a subroutine, sub, damn it. Provide a subroutine called fetch rec, no, that's a typo. I'm going with that's a freaking typo. And let's see. It must see. This one's gonna, and it's 8 marks. Okay. File name. File mode.open. File access.read. Binary writer equals new binary reader. Fs file stream.seek file cache rec k times 38 seek origin.begin. Then we go and say we need rec as Pokemon rec equals rec dot id equals binary reader read binary reader dot read int 32 if rec dot id equals rec k, then we keep reading, rec name equals binary reader dot read string, rec dot health equals binary reader dot read int 2, return else message box incorrect record, return nothing. It's a bit annoying. And turn rec fs.close and if end function. Okay. So based on the question, provide a function. I am scratching it out. Function called fetch rec that will return a record given a record key. It must check to see if a record at the location is the correct one due to collisions. Okay, so there's a bit of a trick question to this, a bit of an extra section to this. I don't believe in function subroutines returning if you have functions. So private function, fetch rec, give it the record key as a Pokemon, get a local variable, file stream. I don't know the file name. I wouldn't have asked it like this. I would have given you the file name at least. Mode, open, read, open and read. Get the binary reader, seek using the function. Read the first value, check if it's equal to the ID pass. So I would pass maybe ID 500. Is the ID at the location equal to the same thing? If it is, continue to read and return it. If it isn't, say it isn't, and then close and return nothing. So I return a nothing. So I can do a if nothing check as well. Okay. But this is a bit of a painful question because honestly, I don't believe in subroutines to return. I know in 1A, Prof. Lung showed you returning through a subroutine by using byref. That's 1A. 1B, if a function, when you're returning something, you use a function. I don't like a subroutine you're returning because that's not the purpose of a subroutine. It's just adding stupidity to code sometimes. Subroutine runs instructions, doesn't return. A function returns. So we're using a function. What testing if you know by ref or by val? That's first semester stuff. If you don't know it, we have a problem. By now you should know it though. I'm not going to test it in the exam though. Everyone okay with question 7? Roughly what you should do. Okay. I know Mr. Singh, I've uploaded the video already. He did a 2018 paper on Saturday. That's already on YouTube and on Blackboard, so you can download that as well. So you got 2018, now another 2019 paper. I've done a 2018 paper. Mr. Van der Westhuizen also do another paper. So you'll get 3 different papers and someone working through it with you. What you can do is try do it and then look back on the solutions. Now, question 8, which is the last one with 10 marks. Ladies and gentlemen, you can read it and yeah. Discuss your experience in working in a team and what went right, what went wrong when it comes to working in a team. What would you wish to do differently going forward? Question 8 is always the social aspects of IT. This year, question 7, always an social aspects based on your team project and the Belbin roles. So it's not a trick question either. Everyone okay with question 8? For 10 marks, give 10 points. In this question, you didn't really need to use the Belbin roles. I believe the open-end questions, hence everyone gets all marks. If you give enough points, you can't just write one line and expect to get 10 points. You have to give 10 points, 10 statements to get 10 marks. Not 10 paragraphs, 10 reasonable sentences at least to explain what went right, what went wrong, and what you do differently. So you'd break it into a reasonable paragraph, 2-paragraph answer saying what went right, what went wrong, and what would you do different based on your experience. It is open-ended, I agree there, but it doesn't mean you all get 10 marks because some of you write one sentence and I've seen in the past. So you get the marks according to what you write. Yeah, there's no real right or wrong answer to this question, but we want to see you give at least 10 points that we can give a mark. 10 different points. Emphasize that statement as well. 10 different points. Every year the question is slightly different. Sometimes it includes the Belbin roles, sometimes it doesn't include the Belbin roles. So you must just answer accordingly. No, it depends on the question. This was a 2018 paper, so here we didn't include the Belbin roles. If you look at the 2019, it did include Belbin roles. So you must adjust for the year's question. So you need to know the Belbin roles and you need to have experience as working in a team. That's what all you need for question 8. Okay. Again, you're gonna have to work through these past papers. Okay, sorry. Sergio, depends on the year question. Sometimes the Belbin roles are expected, sometimes they're not. So just read the question carefully and then determine based on that. Okay. So it just depends on what's being asked that year. But know your Belbin roles nonetheless. So just in case you are asked them, you do know them. You have to go hunting for Belbin roles. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? I know there's 10 minutes left, but unfortunately today is a very busy day with Projects Day tomorrow. I've got a lot of work to do, so I can't spend too much time extra today. And unfortunately, I don't have much time spare. So if you need important questions, please ask them now. Else you can email me or put a message on Discord. But I'll post up some past papers as well. Projects Day starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow and ends at around 4 o'clock. During that time, you can go onto the website and connect to the different teams. I think today the teams that made it through are shown. Let's have a look. Okay, selected projects. And now you can see the second year projects are also available. So second year projects up and running. Third year projects. Also teams are here, but I just want to check if the links are available yet. When you come here to this page tomorrow, there'll be a Discord link as well. So you can go to the page and there'll be a Discord link where you actually can speak to the students. And also these adverts. If you click on MultiChoice, it'll go to MultiChoice's website. I know some of the exhibitors will have a situation where you can go and talk to them. So you can go and speak to, like, I think DVT, Alan Gray. I think some of these actually have some of their recruiters on standby to speak to students. If our judges are up and running, so judges are here. See, these are all the judges for the day. Some of them have sent photos, some of them haven't. A lot of these are alumni of the department. Some of them aren't. Some of them are, like there's the head judge, digital CEO, the judge. You can't really click on them, but you can see who they are. And then the exhibitors, that's that. But the honors projects is some of your third year. Like here is Mr. Singh. Ms. Jefter, Mr. Bogo, Group 1, Smith, Tyler, Mr. Rust, Mr. Singh, like it is done in time. Maybe it's still being loaded. Oh, no, Said. Okay, well, there's two of your assistants at least from here. I can see. Your other assistants might be inside the third year teams. You'll just have to go and check. But you guys will be able to speak to them tomorrow on Discord as well. Okay. And when will Projects Day Practical be uploaded? Probably tomorrow morning when I'm finished it. I'll upload it. It's only available for tomorrow and it'll end tomorrow. So it'll be uploaded tomorrow and closed off tomorrow. Okay, but that's Projects Day this year. Normally Projects Day takes up the whole of the walkways on campus. So normally we take over A, B, and C ring, the walkways. And you have them actually exhibiting in a stand where you can speak to them face to face. It looks like this actually. Yeah, if you do the solutions, so these are pictures from previous year's Projects Day where you can actually see like that one. That is B. Oh, that's A ring. It's A ring. So we would take over an entire area of campus, and the teams would exhibit the projects. So hopefully, when you're in your third year, you will be back to this, where you'll be exhibiting to the public, walking around, students, judges, exhibitors all over the place. Mr. Datling, who's coming back as a judge. Those are honor students being judged. That's third years being judged. Okay. So that's what Projects Day actually looks like. But this year, because of COVID, we're on a digital platform. So we're on doing this approach. But you can at least speak to this. This is the 34th Projects Day. Yes, this happens every year. Projects Day happens every year. Regardless of the situation, Projects Day occurs, as you can see. Be it fire, COVID, pandemics, Projects Day kind of continues. We keep a tradition of it going. So next year will be the 35th Projects Day and going forward. No, there will be no code for the bonus assignment. It's not a practical thing. It's a go and do something or go and speak to the third years. They'll be using Discord to speak to the public. So you can speak to them over Discord on the day. Just be careful, they might not respond immediately, they might be being judged, so just be patient. Tomorrow also involves judging, so the teams are being judged by the judges, as I show the list of judges. So they might be busy with them, so just be a bit patient if they don't respond immediately. But they should respond eventually to Discord as well. Okay. Study breaks next week. But a lot of the honor students are writing exams next week. So please, one thing, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this week, do not contact any assistants or tutors. They also on their study break. They're studying for the exams. So tutors and assistants will still be working until Friday. There'll be no tutors working tomorrow because they're all involved with Project Day generally. But tutors will be available until Friday. Friday, I'm disabling the assistant server because they need to study. So you can't contact tutors and assistants during the study break or during exams. Connections are going to be separated. I've instructed the assistants and tutors to do such because they need to study and focus on their exams as well, just as you. If you need help with studying or questions, you email the lecturers, not the assistants. Okay, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to end the recording. I'll be in the background of the next couple of classes, but that's it.